Hey, the tubers, right? Brian here. Hopefully you can hear me over the sound of the air conditioner. But I did get it to fire. I am over into the shade now. The exhaust pipe is facing away from the house because there's the furnace inlet right there. The exhaust pipe is just right down there. I did get the fire up on its own. I have the fuel pump unhooked right now. Basically, there's a little bit of a trick. You obviously don't want to let your fuel pump run for too long. So this seems going to be a little bit of a trick to start it, or I'll hook the batteries up in parallel. I haven't fully decided on how I want to do this yet. So anyways, I did get it to run. I'm gonna fire it up for you. Sounds really good still. This thing has always ran really well. So ever since I bought it, and no, it's not a piece of junk. It's worth quite a bit of money. So let me fire it up for you. I'm going to first hit the switch, and then I'll reach over and I'll hook up the fuel pump. It should fire. Unhook the fuel pump first, and then I'll shut her off. But hey, she's running pretty good. So what I'm thinking about doing is, if I hook it up this way, so that the fuel pump's separate, I'll put a switch, say right here, or up in here, wherever I can get it. Basically, you flick that on, or you flicker on, like let it build up fuel pressure, then you crank it, and then you flick the fuel pump back on, or something like that. So, but it's running pretty good. I haven't yet tried it just starting it up with just one battery. I don't think it's going to start too easily. And also, for the two batteries, works best, especially with cold applications. Like say if this was out, say if we had like 3 feet of snow on the ground like we did last winter, you go to try to start this thing up, it just does not have enough cold cranking amps to fire up in the cold. That's why I gotta run two batteries on this generator. But as you've seen it and heard, it ran pretty darn good. Coil's still good. Everything on here is still good. Electrical's good. The carb probably needs a cleaning. I did put the mid-grade gas in it. I did not actually have to put gas down the carburetor. All I did was I ran the fuel pump with the fuel line right there, undid a little wee bit. And if you remember from whenever I did this, it's actually the original fuel line still. Even though I moved the fuel pump, I don't even remember where the fuel pump was on this. Then that wire there is the ground. It's grounding actually to the cylinder head, which is a pretty good ground. And if anyone doesn't remember, this thing actually starts up through the windings of the generator. Actually, I know a few people I know one person in particular on YouTube that hasn't had power for quite a while, who would probably love to have this in their backyard to run their house. This thing will run an entire house. It has the capabilities of doing that. Underneath this cover right here has all the information how to set up the wiring. If you don't remember how I did the wiring, it's two-phase coming off of the generator here, and these two wires are two separate lines that go down to the breaker box, which is right down there. Excuse me, sorry about that. And then I got two light bulbs on here. One's for they're on there for a purpose, but they're also on there so you got light if you're firing this thing up and it's dark out. You got light right around the generator, so it helps. One on each side. They come off of both phases. Basically, a few people told me on YouTube that you don't need this. Basically, it keeps the windings moving, so you don't burn out the windings in the generator. It basically makes sure that there's always a load on the generator. Even though they're just light bulbs, it still puts a load on the generator. Also, my uncle suggested doing that as well. He has it on his Onan generator. So I obviously don't want to burn out the generator on this, so that's why I have that set up like that. I did originally try to hook both of the neutrals together for this phase, but it didn't want to work correctly that way. It kept on not wanting to start up, so I ran them both separately. It works perfect. A lot of people say, oh, you can hook that up differently. On the front here, it's hooked up to two double 15 amp breakers. So both these plugs here, as you can see, there's 14.3 running out to both these plugs. Both these plugs are separated. They each have their own hots and they share a neutral. They're not GFIs. I should have put GFIs in, or I might add eventually GFI breakers to this. And I should not have bought dual pole breakers. I should have bought single pole breakers instead. Just I was hooking it up, trying to get it running real fast, to make sure everything was working correctly. So I did it that way. So yeah, it's running pretty good. That big battery there was working perfectly to start this up. Like I said, I'm debating on hooking them up in parallel with each other, basically positive to positive, negative to negative. I haven't decided yet. I may not. Sorry about that. The only thing you do not ever want to do with one of these is hook 24 volts like into them. Basically hook positive and negative on the batteries, and basically you pull say you go from this positive here to this negative here, and basically hook up from this pole and this pole, like this positive pole here and this negative pole here. You never want to hook that up to like that to one of these generators. You will burn out the windings. My uncle actually has one that they just recently got, and someone did do that. He's even telling me that's absolutely the last thing you ever want to do with one of these generators. Hook them up that way and try to start them. They're not 24 volts. They're not designed for 24 volts. You will burn them out. So at least these ones are. I imagine some of the newer ones are possibly designed for 24 volts. It's hard to say, because these actually, they start up with the windings of the generator. So I'll show you. As you heard, no starter really engaged there. There's actually a solenoid on the front here. It's actually a Ford solenoid on the front here, and there's no gear inside there that engages to start this up. One second here. I'm doing a video, just give me a minute. So anyways, that's how this thing does run. If anyone hasn't seen my previous videos on this generator, a little bit of smoke coming out the carb. This thing should get a set of head gaskets. I don't know where necessarily to get the head gaskets. I haven't yet asked my parts guy, see if they can get parts for this thing. They probably can, it's hard to say. So yeah, but also this engine may look real big and massive. It is an opposed twin, obviously, but it's only 10 horse. I think it's only like 10 to 12 horsepower, so you're only really getting 5 to 6 horsepower off each cylinder. So that's what my uncle even told me. Like they're massive engines, but they're really low horsepower. They're not designed for high revving applications. They're designed for really long running applications. Basically fire it up, let it run until it runs out of gas, pretty much, like 8-10 hours at a time sort of thing. That's what these engines are designed to run at. Designed to run for, sorry. So yeah, it's a pretty good generator. I'm happy I did buy it when I did buy it. I don't recall what I paid for it. I don't think I even put on the video what I paid for it. How the coil works, it's a coil here that just has the 2 leads that come off of it. So if that ever went, that'd probably be a little bit of a bugger to get. So I don't think you can get coils with 2 leads off of them. You'd almost have to run 2 coils. And then under here, there is points. And I've never had to mess with them, and hopefully I never do have to mess with them. Everything works perfect on this. It needs a little bit of carburetor work, like I said, but pretty much it runs perfect. Can't complain with this thing. Can't complain about how much I paid for it. So that's pretty much everything. So I'll talk to everyone later. Please keep it redneck. If you have any comments or if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I'll try my best to answer you. It does have electric choke, but electric choke does not work. It's messed up, so you gotta put your hand over it to choke it, or with the fuel pump, it doesn't normally need to be choked. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll talk to you all later. Keep it redneck, and please subscribe and comment. And have a great day, and choosh it.